OGA, thank you again for the shirt. Hit them up.
I need one of those shirts, man.
Like this one is special, so you can buy it in person. You can't get it online, so make sure you guys go. OGA, thank you very much.
Welcome back, guys. Long time no see. We got another episode of Aloha Cribs for ya.
I'm a seller. I'm your friend, right? So I know you. I come to you, Dylan. I want to sell my house.
Yep.
What are you gonna charge me?
I'm gonna charge you.
Like, what are you gonna say? What is your answer?
No. Well, I mean, it depends. You know,
I'm your friend now.
If you're my friend, I'm gonna charge you even more, bro. What I charge is what I put into the deal. So if you want, you know, to offer me a lower commission, then maybe I might not be able to do as much advertising, or I can't do as great of a staging for your.
So it's pretty much you get what you pay for, right?
Yeah. So I guess my approach, if I were to work with the seller, you know, I'm trying to be as helpful and as beneficial to that client as possible. So usually what I'll say is, hey, the commission, you know, it's always negotiable. You know, if you wanted to do like a higher commission, I'll put everything back into that deal. You know, I'm not just charging a higher commission because I want to take more home. I'm charging more so that I can market your home better, we can advertise it better, we can sell it quicker. And I guess that's kind of the misconception, because maybe not all realtors do that.
I had someone tell me once, Paris, if I want to sell my property, what would you charge me? 2.5%. Just because you're my friend, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna help him out. He turned around and told me, why? Why would you do that? Why would you charge me just because I'm your friend? I said, yeah, of course, right? Just because I'm your friend with lowering commission. I could imagine when you're negotiating with his sale of his home with the buyer's realtor, it'll be easy. I'm not gonna even give a fight to negotiate, right?
Yeah.
So he made a good point. Yeah, he made a good point that, you know, we add value. We come in and we get the most value for the sellers. For their property, right? So
like what we do as realtors, you know, we have to present our value to our clients. So, you know, every realtor is different in how they do that. You know, we'll usually do a full presentation, a full mock-up of the comps for your home, all the little details about your home that make it worth more, maybe not worth as much. And we'll show you how we can present that to market your home in the highest and best value. So, you know, I came from car sales. When we do a walk around on a car, we have to talk about every feature, but not just the features, but how it benefits the client. You know, how they get value out of that. And the more we can, increase that perceived value, the more people are willing to spend for that product.
Of course.
So, you know, a car can be worth all the value, but if we don't present it well enough, it might not be worth as much to the client in their eyes because we didn't do a good job and presenting our value.
Right.
So it's the same in any type of sales, especially for real estate, when people are, you know, they're selling like one of the biggest assets they'll ever own in their whole life. So it's kind of a high stakes game when you think about it. So when you have a realtor come in, you know, most people are gonna be like, you know, are you really worth that commission that I'm spending, like tens of thousands of dollars sometimes for people? So of course they're gonna be a little bit reluctant to give away that's their money that they're giving up. So we have to really show our worth. You know, it's like, why would somebody want to sell their home on their own?
I think the first thing I think of, that's like FSBOs, right? We call them FSBOs.
Yep.
For sale by owner. I think the first thing I think of when somebody says, just you can sell it yourself, save commission, right?
Yep.
That's the first thing they say, is save commission. You have to pay the realtors nothing, but automatically I think legal, like it's,
all the
legality of it, liabilities,
right?
Everything. I mean, if you get your own lawyer, if you can't afford your own lawyer, you might as well just hire a realtor.
Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot of smart people out there that can, you know, do a lot of great things, and, you know, maybe selling their own home can be one of those things. But the difference between just, you know, a smart person understanding one transaction versus a seasoned pro that does it every day is a big difference. Like, you can't just step into somebody else's industry and just be an expert off the bat. Of course, you could probably understand, you know, like the legalities and maybe some of the jargon that we use, but versus the experience of a seasoned pro that does deals like every month and understands the nuances of like an escrow process, there's a big difference in that. And also getting the most money out of their home too. You know, one of the biggest things I learned by joining real estate, and one thing that I was kind of weak in, is learning how to market myself. All the different marketing avenues that we go to market somebody's home is just, there's so many things that we can do. Now, will the owner have the same access to those tools that we do? Probably not.
Of course not.
Probably not. You know, it's not only that we just pay for those things, but we just understand what works best for marketing your home. So, for example, let's say the market value of a home is like $550,000, and you know, a owner might try to sell it for that much, but they just have a hard time. They don't really take the best pictures. They don't hire, you know, a photographer. They don't advertise it in the paper.
They use their phone to take their pictures.
Exactly.
Right?
So is that home being marketed to the highest and best value to obtain that $550,000 price? And how long will that home sit on the market for before they have to like reduce the price to make it look more attractive? And, you know, is it getting the exposure that it needs? So they might actually not be able to get that $550,000 price.
Well, a good example, I had one person, he tried to, a younger kid, but he tried to sell himself. He gave it a shot for, I think, 5 months. And
That's a long time.
Finally he called me. So since we're talking about commissions, I told him, well, I'm gonna charge you 8% commission now, because no, it worked out, and we sold it within like 30 days. We had it.
Wow.
We had an offer in 30 days. So
that's a big difference right there. From 5 months to 30 days, like time on the market, you lose money.
Yep.
You lose money by time in the market. So like that velocity from 5 months to 30 days is huge.
When a home becomes stale or sits on the market for a bit, it's hard to regenerate that
interest.
to come back.